Friends, now let me take you to our backend application which is developed on Spring Boot. So here you can see that this is our REST controller and this is the request mapping, that is / programming with Chetan, and this is the particular API which we are invoking from our front end application which is developed on React, and we are using an Axios to make an Ajax call to our backend from our front end application. So this is our get API, that is why we have used an @get mapping annotation, and this is the path to identify this particular API, that is /employee. So here you can see our URL, that is / programming with Chetan and then /employee. So by the help of that / programming with Chetan, it will identify this particular controller, and then this /employee is used to identify this particular get all employee methods by the help of this get mapping annotation. In my previous video, we already discussed about our employee application which is developed on Spring Boot, and I have explained you about our controller layer, and then we have already discussed about our service layer. Along with that, we have also discussed about our repository layer, and along with repository layer, we have also discussed about our model layer. And these are some of the annotations which we have used, that is @entity and then @table to map this particular model class with our employee table, and then this employee ID is our primary key, that is why we have used an @id annotation, and then this @column annotation we have used so that we can bind this particular field with our database column. So here you can see that in our database this is our employee table and this is our emp_id column. Similarly, we are also having another 3 different columns. So for storing the values of all these columns, we have created and different fields inside our model class, and we have also created an getter and setter methods. Now my dear friends, here you can see that this is our Postman application and this is the URL of our get API to get the details of all the employees, and here you can see that we have provided an get method. Let me send the request. So here you can see that we have received a response code, that is 200, and this is the JSON response which we have received, which is an output of this particular get API. So here we are receiving a different employee objects. Now let us try to launch this particular employee application from browser, and then we will try to see that what is the response which we are getting for our get API to get the details of all the employees. So this is our browser, and here you can see that this is the URL of our application. Let me also inspect it so that under network tab we will be able to see that what are the API calls happening in background. Now let me try to hit this particular URL. So my dear friends, here you can see that we are getting our employee management system application web page, and this is our employee table with 4 different columns, that is employee ID, first name, last name and employee role. But my dear friends, here you can see that we are not receiving any data from our backend and it is simply showing no record found. Now let us try to analyze that what is actually happening in background and why we are not getting the data from our backend. So my dear friends, here you can see that this is the get API which we have invoked from our UI layer to our backend layer, but here you can see that we are getting this CORS error, that is an cross origin resource sharing error from our backend. So my dear friend, let us first try to understand that what is this CORS error. So here you can see that our browser is currently running on which port? This is running on 3000 port, right? And our backend is running on 8080 port, right? So when we have tried to access our get API from our Postman application, then we were able to get the response from our server. But when we are trying to access our get API from our front-end application which is running on 3000 port, then we are getting this CORS error, that is a cross origin error. So you might be thinking that how we can solve this particular error. So my dear friends, if you have encountered this error while developing your applications, or if you know the solution for this error, then please share your response in comment section. Now let me show you one of the way by the help of which we can solve this particular course error. Okay, so let me take you to our Spring Boot application and let us go to our controller class. So my dear friend, this is our employee controller. So to solve this particular course problem, we will use one of the annotation, and this annotation will help us to solve our course error. So my dear friends, the annotation which we can use to solve this particular course problem is @cross origin annotation, which we need to provide at the class level. So this is our cross origin annotation, and we also need to provide some of the parameters for our cross origin annotation. So let us provide the value for our origins attribute. So we are providing its value as star, which means that any application with any port will be able to access our APIs if we are providing its value as star. Now let us provide one more attribute for our cross origin annotation. So here I am providing one more annotation, that is allowed header, and here also I am providing its value as star. Let me restart our application once. So my dear friend, this is one of the way of solving the course error by using an cross origin annotation at our controller layer class. And if we want to do the global configuration, then that also we can do by creating a separate course filter class, which we will see in a separate video. So here our application is already running now. So let us move back to our browser. Now before invoking our application, let us first see our network tab. So let us do one thing, let us clear the logs which we have already captured. Now let us do one thing, let us try to relaunch our application. So my dear friends, here you can see that this time we are getting the output from our backend layer, that is from our S2 database. So here you can see that this is our employee table and it consists of 6 different rows. So we have tried to get these details from our React application. So what we did, we invoked an API which we have written in a Spring Boot, right? So this is our get API. So we have invoked this API from our React application to get the employee details. Let us see the network tab once. So here you can see that this time we are not getting any error from our backend for our employee API, right? So this is our get API and this is the URL which we have invoked. Let me take you to the preview tab. So here you can see that this is the response which we have received from our backend server, right? So my dear friends, I hope that you are able to understand that how we can solve this course problem, right? And I hope that you are able to understand that how we can do the configuration of our React application with our backend application, which can be developed in any technology. But for this particular tutorial, our backend is developed on Spring Boot, which is one of the famous framework which we are currently using in market. And this is the get API which we have invoked to get the employee details from our H2 database. And friends, if you like the content of this tutorial, then do like, comment and subscribe my channel and click the bell icon to get all the latest updates of my upcoming tutorials. I would like to wish you all the very best for your learnings.